Hey, what's up, YouTube? I hope everyone is having a fabulous day today. This is Paul Chambers with the Miles Group, and just following up on the first part that we started yesterday involving door knocking and how to get in more doors, how to sort of overcome different rebuttals that we get at the door. One of the most common that we run into is an individual telling us that they already have coverage, or that they just got coverage. Okay. One of the mistakes I think people make right away is they get into a back and forth. All right. They'll say, oh, well, what company do you have? Or is it whole life? Or is there a 2-year waiting period? Things like that. Those are all things that are very important to find out for what it is we're trying to accomplish, but those aren't things that you want to be getting into on the front porch. You have to sort of earn the right to ask those questions. Here's what I mean by that. A little example I can give. Let's say that you go to lunch every day with your best friend, the same person. Every day you guys go to Subway, and you always get a steak and egg sandwich. I love steak and egg. It's my favorite. So all of a sudden, though, today when you guys go to lunch, you get a 6-inch tuna on wheat, all right? Well, if a random person behind you in line says to you, why did you just get a 6-inch tuna on wheat? You're going to look at them like they're crazy and say, what the hell do you care what kind of sandwich I just got? Or because, I mean, you don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them an answer. Now, if you're with that best friend and the best friend says, dude, why'd you just get a tuna? You always get the steak and egg. I may say to them, well, it's because, I'm getting a little portly here and my wife wants me slimming down a bit. So that's why I'm going to try to go with something that they say is healthier. I don't know. Either way, you're giving that person an explanation because you have a relationship with them. Okay. That's what this all comes down to. So it's just kind of a piggyback off the video yesterday of why it's so important to be looking for things on your way to the house that you're going to talk about, things that you may have in common with that person. All right. So when I'm at the door and somebody says that to me, I really don't address it and give it any attention as to the details of their coverage. I congratulate them. I say, that's awesome. I'm glad that you guys have already thought enough to put a plan in place so that your family, is not stuck with a financial burden or does not have a financial difficulty caused because you had no plan in place for when that time comes. Okay. What I'll tell them then is, look, you did reach out to us. That's why I'm here today. It is my job to get you this information. It's only going to take like 5 minutes. Where can we sit down to go over it? And then I'll be on my way. All right. I sort of downplay why I'm there, and I throw it back on them. I'm here because you sent in a request. Okay, I'm not just here randomly because I have nothing better to do today. You sent this in that you needed information, and it's my job to get it to you, which it is. All right. So at that point, again, I don't start giving them a grand inquisition on the coverage that they have. I'll sort of downplay it because I know that nobody can offer what we can, right? We have the best product out there. Nobody else is going to pay a benefit in 24 hours. Nobody else is going to support their family, make sure that their rights as consumers are protected, that they're not being taken advantage of as consumers, okay? Nobody else is going to do that for them. So some of the things I'll sort of slip in there right at the beginning of conversation, even as I'm sitting down, I'll say, hey, listen, whole life insurance is basically the same, right? With whole life insurance, premium doesn't change, death benefit doesn't change, builds cash value, blah, 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 all the boring, typical whole life insurance. And then I'll throw in real nonchalantly, the only thing that's different with us is that we'll pay your family in 24 hours and we'll carry out your wishes so that they don't have to have the burden of doing it and protect them as consumers. I sort of do it real nonchalantly because it's in their head at that point, right? If they do have something else, they're thinking, boy, that company didn't mention to me that they would pay in 24 hours. Nor did they tell me on the phone that they're going to do stuff for my family. So I'll sort of at that point, they've given me 5 to 10 minutes based on what I asked them for. So I'll go through things as I normally would. I'm just striking up conversation with them, trying to find what matters most to them, and ultimately trying to find out what it was that led them to send that in the first place. If if they already have coverage in place and it's whole life coverage and it's in force, that's awesome. I'm not going to try to do anything with that coverage. It's not in their best interest to save a few dollars. It is in their best interest to pick up additional coverage, okay? To pick up additional coverage with me, because our company is going to pay that bill in 24 hours. Our company is going to be there for their family on their worst day. But again, I have to earn the right to get into the position to tell them that, okay? As things progress, then I'll start asking them point blank, what other company did you go with? Or what other company do you currently have? And this is where knowing your craft is so important. You need to know what these other companies offer before you get there. Okay, this is your business. You need to be educated on everything that pertains to it, including the details of your competitors. All right? So once we find that out, yes, we already know that if they did something over the phone off of a television commercial, if Alex Trebek is the one that sold them their coverage, we already know that they have a 2-year waiting period. We already know that it's done in units, not dollars, and depending on your age, gender, and health condition, what a unit may be worth. We already know all of that, but we aren't there to tell them why they shouldn't have someone else's product, okay? We aren't there to educate them on what they don't have. What we are there to do is educate them on what we do have and what we will do for them on their family's worst day. So again, kind of just to summarize, don't get into a back and forth on the porch with somebody that you have yet to earn the right to have that conversation with. You have the relationship with them. You create a situation where they're liking you and trusting what you're saying, then they're going to be open and receptive to the details of what it is they don't or don't have. That's sort of the first place I wanted to go with that, because a lot of people sort of, they get themselves out of the game before they even get started by doing that. Yes, think it in your head, definitely. But when you make a phone call or you show up on somebody's porch for the first time, don't get into a back and forth with them that involves you asking them close-ended questions about the coverage that they have. Be inviting. Again, be likable. Find a way to for them to let you in. And again, for me, the way that I do that is I throw it back on them that the reason I'm here today is because you reached out to us. So I'm glad that you have things in place. Please just allow me to do my job. It's only going to take me a few minutes to get through the information that you reached out for, and then we kind of go from there. So hope that helps. If you have any questions about it, definitely comment and let me know. But rarely, if ever, does hearing a response or a rebuttal of I already have coverage or we just got coverage ever stop me from doing what it is that I'm there to accomplish.